Yes, that has to do mainly with what the broadcasters are going to be showing on their channels.
I see.
So it goes up and down. It's never really one or the other. Sometimes they're more into CG.
Right.
Sometimes they have an equal split.
Right.
Sometimes they go more into 2D. But it's really what the broadcasters are going to be displaying. That's
right.
what gets worked on. Fortunately, here at Pipeline, we have always been able to maintain both 2D and CG going all of the time.
Right, right.
So we usually have either 1 2D production and 3 to 4 CG, or 2 2D productions and 2 to 3 CG going at all the time.
I see.
So we've always been able to split it up evenly.
Oh,
so it's great. And right now we're going to go upstairs, which is our 2D area.
Okay.
Right now, they're on break. They'll be back on next week, actually.
Super. So what are we looking at here now?
So this is Kristen. She's one of our leads for Detentionaire.
Right.
And she's opened up a sequence of Detentionaire, and then she can move the character according to what he's doing and playing the action, and she will just make him do what he's supposed to be doing.
I see. I see how that works.
That's for the storyline.
Right, right. So they just take little parts and move them just like real animation, and then they're all tied together until the final output is done.
And they get to do a lot more drawing than they actually do on CG, because on CG, the models are already all there, broken and everything, so that the animators move them.
Right, right.
But the model is done. So the animators don't really do the modeling.
Yeah.
In 2D, they actually do a lot of the times create extensions and do more hands or do expressions or things that they need to adjust in order for the action to read as per the storyline.
Right.
Or whatever it is that they want to push the animation a little further. So they do get to do a lot more drawing.
How long does it take to do a full scene like that? Like, it looks like she's very fast at doing this. So obviously this isn't her first round. So how long does it take to do just a full sequence in a scene like that?
Kristen?
Oh, depending on the length.
Right.
It could probably take, I mean, this one probably took about 2 to 3 hours. Depends on the dialogue, depends on how much they're doing in a scene.
Sure, sure.
Depends on how many characters in a scene really negotiates how much time it's going to take you, because every character has to move. You can't have a character just sitting there doing nothing.
Got you. Yeah, yeah.
So, and if you need to draw stuff, like if you need to draw new arms, it's going to take a little bit longer. If you draw new hands, it's going to take a little bit longer. But
right.
It doesn't take too long. I think the only time you spend is on drawing and making sure it looks like, it has to look like the model every time.
Right.
And every animator has to look exactly the same.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, that's fascinating, because I am terrible at drawing, so I am the wrong person to ever do this type of a job. So now it goes from here. Does it get outputted somewhere for all the pieces to start to come together? Because of course this is just the drawing. You're not hearing any audio. Where does it go from here?
So this is then fit into the servers.
Okay.
And then it'll get all composited. Really. So that's when it all comes together. So each animator usually has, in 2D, will have around a 45-second quota a week.
Okay.
So each week everything is getting backed up through the day. And every week he just goes there and he just starts building and getting all composited. Okay. And then at the end of in an episode, it usually runs about 4 weeks. So in the 4 weeks when we have to deliver the episode, that's when it all gets composited, and then the audio and the light and everything gets worked on. Any last minute technical issues that need to be addressed. Sometimes in the compositing and the trajectory from here into the service and that last part, it can get broken, or some characters just look out of sync, so
color's wrong or something.
Go back there and just do a little tweak here and there, and then they'll be delivered.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Now, what is he doing over here? It looks like there's a lot bigger of a screen, and it looks like he's kind of going through each little piece to make sure everything's perfect. So this looks like a you know, an outputted final file here.
Yes, well, Chris is our technical director.
Hi, Chris.
So when we have these little issues and things, then he's at the end of the line,
right,
of the pipeline. So he's the one that actually puts it all together to be delivered.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Make sure things work.
Sure.
Work with the animators to solve any technical problems.
Right,
so
right.
What we have here is a project we started doing with a toy company called Waverly, and it's about. Am I allowed to talk about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's about mermaids. So this is kind of a work in progress. There's a mix of backgrounds that don't have color on them, which is the black and white image.
Right.
And then we got the character animation, which is in the foreground with the color characters. And that, I think that's what Kristen is working on.
Kristen is actually, she opened up the tensionary scene. That's fine.
So,
wow.
There's no audio on this, but this is basically, as we go through the production, it gets completed in stages. Let me
sure.
try with some audio here. What do we got?
Yep.
Is that third scene? There we go.
When I placed the magic
There we
pearl
go.
into the magic seashell, it told me my first sea.
So this doesn't have a background, it's black. So what we do is the animators concentrate on animating,
right,
and then we have other artists that do the background plates. And at this point, it wasn't all in there yet. Let's see what we got here. There we go. This
wow,
is
that's a lot busier.
So this has the background as well as the characters. And when they're not moving, it's hard to pick up. Oh, there's no audio on this one either.
That's okay.
But that's kind of what you get. And it's got some effects in there, which are the bubbles at the end. So this station's used a lot as a work in progress. What they'll do is they'll render it, the shot, come up here and look at the whole thing in sequence.
Right.
And it's easier to gauge. Oh, here's another one that's just a background.
Sure.
So there's a character here.
Searched until I found a beautiful pearl seashell. It had a magic pearl and an adorable baby seahorse too. The seahorse said, "Hi, I'm a pearl pet. I take
So
care
it's a
of the
narrative.
magic pearl."
Explaining a bit the characters and who everybody is. It's just a short, maybe 3-minute clip that
right,
the toy company's going to use as an introductory. I guess they're going to broadcast it on the web.
That's
and,
wonderful.
Things like that.
Wow.
Anyway, so that's how it ties in.
Well, thanks for showing us that. That's really
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, that kind of gives you a whole idea how it comes together. And was that just a 2D or a mix of 2D and 3D that we were seeing?
That was just 2D.
Just 2D is very clear. It gives you that 3D effect, I think, anyway. Even though it's not true 3D, it does look like when she was swimming through, you know, the ocean there, it gave you that effect
Yeah, you
for
can
sure.
still do camera moves, and you can scale the characters to make them look like they're going farther away. So
Right.
you can kind of cheat, and that's kind of the traditional animated look, is using the hand drawn.
Right.
So we do a lot of productions that mix the two, where you have a 3D Maya scene, and then you'll have a 2D character in it.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting how it's evolving, and they're throwing them, both technologies together now.
That's amazing. Well, thanks very much for showing us that. That's great.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll go and talk to the rest of the crew and
Yes.
find out maybe some of the other things that they're doing as
Of
well.
course.
So thanks.
Thank you, Kristen.
So Juan, thanks very much for taking us through the next part. So maybe you could explain to us where Pipeline started and how it got here.
Sure. Thank you for allowing us to be on the show and
No problem.
showing you what we're all about. We're very, very proud of what we've been able to accomplish in the community. And we're also proud of the industry in general in Canada. I didn't know this myself. I'm on the business side of things, right?
Right.
And I work with extremely strong creative people
Right.
to support us on that end. But it turns out that Canada is actually one of the leading nations in the world of animation. We're producing more digital content for television than any other place on the world.
Really? Even the United States?
Even the United States.
Wow.
They follow us, and then it's France.
Okay.
We produce something like 500 hours of animation for television a year,
That's
while they
incredible.
produce 450 and France 400, just to put it a little bit into context.
Right.
The main opportunity for us to be where we're at right now was actually a little bit of what was happening worldwide with the economics of the world, the recession,
Sure.
fears and all that, where it required the industry to change